Thermostat wiring and fan speed control boards differ, so the cooling fan uses higher speed terminals for efficient heat transfer, while the heating fan uses lower speed terminals for comfort, and the thermostat selects them automatically via the cooling call or the fan relay. When wiring or replacing a control board, first map every fan speed terminal label on the board to the actual motor leads and document wire colors before disconnecting anything. Common labels are G for blower on, GH or fan heat for heating speed, and GC or fan cool for cooling speed. But manufacturers vary, so always consult the schematic and service manual specific to the model. Test motor speeds live with a low voltage jumper to G and then to the heat and cool speed terminals while observing amperage with a clamp meter and motor vibration. A properly sized motor will show stable current and minimal noise at the heat terminal and noticeably higher current at the cooling terminal without tripping the board protector. If the control board only has a single variable output, install a 3-speed relay pack or a multi-tap transformer to provide discrete heat and cool taps. And set the fan control jumpers per the manufacturer to prevent overlapping contacts during mode transitions. When replacing thermostats, ensure the thermostat fan terminal is wired to G and that the thermostat is configured to use conventional heat-cool sequencing rather than zone or variable speed profiles. Advanced thermostats that modulate blower output require compatibility with the furnace control board's signal type, either simple on-off or variable frequency drive. Verify that the cooling contactor call on the outdoor condenser is wired to the Y terminal so the control board can switch to the higher cooling fan speed automatically. If your system uses a 2-stage compressor, confirm which Y terminal corresponds to first stage and second stage cooling to avoid mismatched blower speeds. If the furnace uses a variable speed motor with a control harness, update the motor control module firmware and set the comfort versus efficiency curves according to the installer instructions, because factory defaults often bias efficiency and can underdeliver comfort during heating. Always replace control board capacitors and run a start capacitor test if you see slow spin up on the higher cooling speed, since weak capacitors mimic wiring faults and can damage motors. Finally, after any change, perform a full sequence test, heat call, cool call, fan only, and transition cycles while logging voltages and currents to a handheld data logger, so you can validate that G and Y calls select the correct terminals and that no unintended overlap or dead zone occurs. One of the common thermostat wiring mistakes is mislabeling or misconnecting fan speed terminals, causing improper blower speed during heating and cooling. Fix this by tracing and labeling each motor lead, consulting the control board schematic, and using temporary jumpers to verify speeds. One of the frequent issues is using a thermostat that outputs a variable signal incompatible with the furnace control board, which causes erratic fan behavior. Resolve this by fitting a compatible interface module or replacing the thermostat with one that offers on-off fan control or a board-compatible communicating interface. One of the usual problems is ignoring capacitor health and motor current draw when replacing boards, which results in slow or noisy fans at cooling speeds. Correct it by testing and replacing capacitors, measuring motor current against nameplate values, and installing proper overload protection or a relay pack if currents exceed board ratings. BigHomeProjects.com lists local HVAC and electrical contractors and helps homeowners match their thermostat wiring and control board needs with specialists who know how to map heat and cool fan terminals correctly. The directory helps contractors get work by showcasing verified projects and qualifications so homeowners can choose pros who specialize in control board replacement and blower speed configuration.